I know what it feels like to walk through the valley of heartbreak with your hands still trembling from promises that fell apart. I know the sting of watching the life you prayed for unravel like thread in a storm, wondering if the unraveling was punishment or protection. There's a silence that comes after the final goodbye, not just to the person, but to the dream, to the version you that believed forever would be held together by your effort alone. It's a silence that speaks loud in the midnight hour, echoing with the question, what now? You see, nobody tells you how hard it is to grieve a living person, to watch them keep moving while your world stands still. They don't always talk about the ache of having to reclaim the parts of yourself you gave away too freely, the pieces you left on altars they were never called to worship at. And if you're like me, you wrestled with the shame. You looked at yourself in the mirror and thought, how did I end up here? You wondered if you missed God, if you ignored the signs, or if maybe, just maybe, you were never meant to be loved the way you hoped. But let me stop you right there, sis. Let me tell you something sacred and strong, something holy and heavy with grace in God is not done writing your story. That chapter may be closed, but the pen is still moving. That season may have ended in tears, but heaven is still dreaming over your life. God does not abandon the hearts he himself shaped. He does not leave your love story in ashes and call it finished. No, baby. He calls it a beginning. There's something powerful about a woman who's lost everything and still chooses to believe. There's something holy about brokenness in the hands of the potter. I know you feel like you've got cracks running through your soul, but those very cracks are where the oil flows. The anointing doesn't come in the put-together moments. It drips from the places where you were shattered and still said yes to healing. Dating after divorce is not about proving you're worthy of love again. It's about remembering you never stopped being worthy. It's about standing in the fullness of your healing and refusing to shrink to fit into old patterns. It's not about trying to get back what you lost. It's about discovering what you never knew you carried. Because divorce didn't diminish you, it developed you. I hear God whispering to you even now. I still have plans for your heart, plans that don't come with manipulation or confusion, plans that aren't rushed or forced, plans where peace and purpose hold hands. Jeremiah 2:19 is still true, even after the fallout. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future that includes your heart, that includes your desire to love and be loved. That includes romance, covenant safety, and joy. But here's the truth. Before God sends someone to walk with you, he will first teach you how to walk with him. You've got to let him heal the soul ties that linger like ghost hands on your skin. You've got to let him rewrite the narrative in your mind that tells you you're hard to love. You've got to unlearn what dysfunction taught you and relearn what the Spirit reveals. That you are not a burden, you are a blessing. You are not too much, you are enough. And your love story is not on layaway. It's being handcrafted by the author of time. Some of us need to admit that what we called connection was really just codependency. What we mistook for chemistry was actually the familiar choice we grew up with. We confused butterflies with anxiety and silence with peace. But God is calling you into a new discernment. He's not just healing your heart. He's renewing your vision. Because when your identity is rooted in him, you stop chasing validation and start attracting purpose. You stop settling for potential and start recognizing fruit. And let me tell you, when you've done your healing, a red flag won't look like a challenge. It'll look like a boundary worth keeping. So if you're in that place right now, tender, unsure, maybe even angry at yourself, I want you to take a deep breath and remember this: God is not mad at you. He's not disappointed in your divorce. He's not sitting in heaven with crossed arms and a record of your mistakes. He's holding your hand through the rubble and calling you beloved. He's still the God who meets women at the well, who speaks life to the ones society labels coozed up. He's still the God who sees past your past and calls you chosen, calls you worthy, calls you whole. You don't have to perform to earn his goodness. You don't have to fix yourself to be found. Ruth didn't chase bows. She simply positioned herself in obedience. She was faithful in the field, and love found her there. That same God, the one who aligned Ruth with destiny and romance in the same breath, is working behind the scenes for you. So stop looking for love in places that don't mirror God's love for you. Stop giving sacred parts of yourself to people who don't know how to steward you. Singleness after divorce isn't punishment, it's preparation. And dating again is not a step backward. It's a sacred invitation to trust God again, even with your heart, even with your scars, even with your fears. Psalm 47 verse 3 says, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. And baby, He's doing that right now. Don't resist the healing just because it hurts. Don't block the blessing because you're still bleeding. Let Him finish what He started in you. Because yes, even after all you've been through, God still writes love stories. And the next one won't look like the last one. The next one will be built not on trauma bonding, but on truth. Not on illusion, but identity. Not on fear of being alone, but the overflow of already being whole. I need you to know, deeply, unshakably know, that your story didn't end just because the relationship did. That ring may be gone, the papers may be signed, but baby, you are still a walking testimony. You're still God's poetry in motion. And maybe right now you're not sure if you're ready to date again. Maybe you look at your heart like it's a house that's still under construction. Some rooms beautifully renovated, others still echoing with memories you didn't choose to keep. But even unfinished homes can carry the presence of God. Even broken places can become sacred if you let Him sit with you there. You don't have to rush. You don't have to apologize for taking your time. God doesn't need you to pretend you're over it just to prove your faith. Healing is holy, and time is not your enemy. It's your evidence. It proves that you are worthy of being cared for gently, slowly, intentionally. It's okay to still flinch when someone gets close. It's okay to still double check that your boundaries are being honored. That doesn't make you better. It means you're learning how to be better. Better at discerning. Better at loving without losing yourself. Better at choosing peace over patterns. And can I be real with you? There will be moments when the loneliness tries to convince you that crumbs are better than waiting for the feast. When the late nights and the weddings and the Instagram posts start whispering, settle, just don't be alone. But you've come too far to go back to pieces. Runs empty. You've cried too many tears to return to places where you have to beg to be seen. You've done the work. You've been in the fire. And the you that emerged from those flames is no longer content with counterfeit comfort. This season isn't just about waiting. It's about becoming. Becoming the woman who doesn't compromise her calling for company. Becoming the woman who knows that solitude with God is better than attention from someone who can't pray over her. Becoming the woman who is so rooted in her identity that love doesn't complete her. It complements her. You don't need someone to rescue you. You need someone who recognizes you, who sees the oil on your life and says, I'll cover you in prayer before I cover you in promises. See, there's a difference between being chosen and being picked. Being picked is about availability, but being chosen is about destiny. God is raising your standard, not because you're too much, but because what's coming is too important to be shared with someone who doesn't understand your worth. When you carry purpose, love must be aligned, not just emotional. It must be spiritual. Because this time you're not building for Instagram, you're building legacy. And legacy can't be built on lust, lies, or lack. Let's talk about boundaries for a moment. Because I know sometimes love made you forget you needed them. Maybe you bent until you broke. Maybe you allowed what you should have addressed. Maybe you confused being wanted with being respected. But now you know. Now you understand that boundaries are not walls. They are doors. They don't keep love out. They filter what comes in. And baby, when you start dating again, those boundaries are going to be your protection, not your punishment. They're going to the garden God has restored in your soul. You are not hard to love. You just need love that's mature enough to hold you with reverence. You need love that speaks your language, not just with words, but with consistency. Love that doesn't flinch when you share your story. Love that doesn't compete with your calling. Love that understands that your scars are sacred and your strength was born in the valley. That kind of love starts with how you love you. You set the tone for how others treat you by how you treat yourself in the in-between. When you truly heal, you don't just forgive them. You forgive yourself. You release the version of you who didn't know better. You stop rehearsing the what ifs and start living in the what's next. And maybe you're scared that if you open your heart again, you'll break all over again. But let me remind you, Your heart isn't fragile, it's fortified. It's been through fire and came out stronger. You won't lose yourself again because you finally met yourself in the ashes. You've learned to love her, to protect her, to speak life over her when no one else does. And sis, don't be afraid to let people walk away when they're not aligned. Sometimes rejection is just redirection. It's God saying, that's not the one I sent. He's not withholding, he's protecting. And I know it's hard to understand when you've been lonely, but baby, peace is better than presence. Don't sacrifice your healing for temporary attention. Don't trade your wholeness for half-hearted affection. Remember when Jesus met the woman caught in adultery? Everyone wanted to stone her, but Jesus looked at her and saw redemption. He didn't shame her. He restored her. And then he said, go and sin no more. That was more than a command. It was a commission. It was a release, a declaration that she no longer had to live under the labels placed on her by others or herself. That same Jesus is speaking over you, go and love again. But this time with wisdom. Go and open your heart, but this time in alignment. Go and be seen, but this time as a whole woman, not a half version. God's love story for you is not a fairy tale. It's a faith walk. It's not about everything being perfect. It's about everything being purposed. And just because you've seen failure doesn't mean you won't see fulfillment. Just because you lost before doesn't mean you won't win again. What's ahead of you is still holy. What's coming for you is still covered in grace. So lift your head, queen. Wipe your tears. You are not broken beyond repair. You are becoming beautiful and bold, full of fire and faith. And when love comes again, and it will not ask you to betray yourself. It will not dim your light. It will not confuse your spirit. It will confirm what God already told you. You are my beloved, in whom I am well pleased. So here you are now. Wiser, softer, stronger. A woman who has walked through the fire and learned how to hold herself with sacred care. A woman who's no longer trying to fit into spaces she's outgrown. A woman who knows that dating again isn't about trying to find someone who completes her, but about meeting someone who can beside the complete woman she already is. And that, sis, is powerful. That is holy ground. You don't have to chase after love. You only need to stand in your truth, and what is meant for you will know where to find you. You are not invisible to the God who counts every hair on your head and bottles every tear you've cried. You are not forgotten in the realm of romance just because your path has been different. If anything, your detours have refined your discernment. Your waiting has cultivated wisdom, and your pain has become the soil where beauty will rise again. Don't let the world rush you. Don't let the timelines of others make you feel like you're behind. Your pace is protected. Your process is personal. And if no one else has told you lately, I need you to hear this deep in your bonus. You're not too late for love. You're right on time for God's kind of love. The kind that doesn't need performance, the thing that doesn't wear a mask, the kind that's rooted in truth, born of purpose and sealed in peace. There is a man somewhere in his own becoming who is learning how to carry what you carry. He's not perfect, but he's preparing. God is working on him the same way he's working on you. And when you meet, you won't need to beg for alignment. You'll both be ready. He'll love your past without fear, your calling without insecurity, and your softness without exploitation. But here's the key. He's not the reward. Your healing is. He's the reflection of the work you've already done with God, not the source of your identity. And when you know that, you stop idolizing the arrival of love and start cherishing the love that already surrounds you in God's presence. You don't need someone to come rescue because, baby, you've already been rescued by grace. You've already been pulled out of pits that should have buried you. You've already survived betrayals that should have broken you. You've already walked away from things that you thought you couldn't live without. So now you get to date from overflow, not from emptiness. You get to show up whole, not hoping someone else will make you so. You'll know it's God when love doesn't cost you your peace. You'll know it's right when it doesn't ask you to diminish your voice. You'll know it's holy when it multiplies your faith instead of draining your soul. 1 Corinthians 13 still applies. Love is patient. Love is kind. It doesn't envy. It doesn't boast. It protects, trusts, it hopes, it perseveres. That's not just a poetic scripture. It's the standard. And this time, we're not lowering the standard because we've raised our sense of self-worth. This time we know the price of our peace. This time we love from abundance, not anxiety. Dating after divorce can be intimidating, but it can also be an invitation to discover a new level of intimacy with God, to allow Him to be the keeper of your heart before anyone else holds it again. An invitation to experience a joy that doesn't come from another person, but from within, from the deep quiet knowing that you are loved already fully eternally. Yes, it will take courage to open your heart again. Yes, it will take discernment to separate real from counterfeit. Yes, you will need boundaries. Yes, you'll need to walk away from sweet words that don't come with solid actions. While yours in, but you won't do it alone. The same God who carried you through the divorce, through the shame, through the nights when you questioned your worth. That same God will guide your steps into new beginnings. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from strength. And when the time is right, when heaven says now, you will recognize love by the way it reflects God, not chaos. It will not confuse you. It will not make you feel like you have to compete. It will not come with fear disguised as passion. It will come with calm, with clarity, with confirmation. It will look like God's fingerprints, gentle, intentional, and pure, and you'll know. You'll know because you've seen the counterfeit. You'll know because peace will no longer feel like boredom, but like home. So if you're stand at the edge of dating again and you're afraid of repeating the past, afraid of trusting too soon, afraid of being let down again, I want you to hear this with every fiber of your being. God is with you in this. He goes before you. He surrounds you. And He delights in giving good gifts to His daughters. That includes love. That includes companionship. That includes someone who sees your strength and still holds your softness with care. Your love story is not over. It's being rewritten with more wisdom, with deeper faith, and with the kind of self-love that was birthed through fire. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. You are not too broken. You are chosen. You are whole. And you are worthy of a love that feels like grace. So go ahead and breathe, sis. Let go of the fear. Let go of the timeline. Let go of the lies that told you your best days were behind you. God is still writing, and this time, the ink is stained with redemption. Let your heart dream again, and let it do so without shame, because this time you're not chasing love. You're walking in it. You're becoming it. You are it. And the one who is meant for you, He'll see it, and He'll thank God for the day you said yes to healing, yes to wholeness, and yes to trusting that God still writes the best love stories.